All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday evening Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. Hope everybody is doing well today. We are going to get straight to it. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. So, real quick, just to check my audio, drop me a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's hop over to trading economics. Check out what is going down there from a fundamental perspective, and then we will dive into the charts. This evening, I do want to take pair requests first. So if you have anything that you have your eyes on that you want me to take a look at, drop those into the chat as we're talking about the fundamentals, and then we will come around to them. All right. So off the top, IMF, the International Monetary Fund, they revised global growth forecast. IMF revised its global growth forecast lower to 2.8% from 2.9 for 2023 and 3% from 3.1% in 2024. Citing policy stances needed to bring down inflation, the fallout of the recent deterioration in financial conditions, and the ongoing war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, global inflation is seen decreasing to 7% this year from 8.7 in 2022 on the back of lower commodity prices, but core CPI is likely to decline more slowly, right? So inflation's coming down, but overall, from the core inflation perspective, not coming down as fast as some would like. Right, so it's going to impact the global growth throughout the year or throughout the next couple of years, right? As the Fed stated that they will need to keep rates higher for longer. Additionally, we had crude oil rally 2%, got above $81 a barrel, right? This is a potential prospects for higher Chinese demand, right, and tighter global supplies. Recent data showed softer than expected consumer inflation in China, suggesting an uneven economic recovery, right? So a little boost in oil there, could see some additional production coming out of China, right? So those CAD pairs could definitely see a boost as that continues to move to the upside. Eurozone retail sales fall as expected in February. So not big news there, right? But we're seeing things again, right? That trend of things starting to turn over, still some back and forth from a fundamental perspective, but you're seeing more data start to turn over and slow down, right? So signaling a slowdown in inflation, right? A slowdown in spending. We'll also see those job cuts continue to come through as well. All right, so that's that from trading economics. Over to the calendar. Let's refresh here. And today, not a ton. Had a couple FOMC members come to the microphone, but not a ton happening today. Tomorrow, however, right, all eyes are on the CPI data. Okay, so we'll see a lot of consolidation. Things started to slow down in the afternoon today. So we see that. We see that as we come around these big reports. So the CPI number is going to be very, very, very key tomorrow and could give us an indication of which side of this 25 basis point interest rate increase the Fed could fall on. All right. If those numbers come in high or hot, Fed could likely be leaning towards that 25 basis point increase. If they come at as expected or below, then you could hear more talks about the pausing or reversing conversation, right? You'll see investors get a little bit more excited then. Tomorrow, we also have Bank of Canada monetary policy report and their rate statement, right? That'll be key data for us as well on those Canadian dollar pairs. We'll see if we get some movement in one direction or the other. They already held their rates once and expected to hold the rates again. We will see how that goes. And then we have the press conference at 11 o'clock. We have FOMC meeting minutes from the previous meeting that will also be important, give us some insight on the forward guidance coming from the Fed, right? What way they're looking, and combining that with that CPI data, right? Start to develop that narrative, okay? Then we have Governor Bailey coming to the microphone at 3:15, and then we have Aussie unemployment rate and employment change at 9:30 tomorrow night. So busy day tomorrow, right? Give us that volatility that we're looking for, break us out of some of these ranges that we've been sitting in for a bit, potentially. All right, then on Thursday, we got pound GDP month over month. Core PPI numbers coming in for the United States, unemployment claims for the United States, Governor Macklem speaking for the Bank of Canada. And then on Friday, retail sales, core retail sales, FOMC members coming to the microphone, and consumer sentiment. So busy week, right? Busy second half of the week ahead, coming out of the holiday weekend. So see some volatility that we want to. So that's it from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions, or have you guys seen anything that caught your eye fundamentally?
Nope.
All right. Cool deal. Well, let's hop over the chart. So if you guys have any pairs that you want me to take a look at first, drop those into the chat and we will start there. OT got you locked down. I dig it, Joy. Is that all the Aussie pairs? Is that what you mean by AUD?
Aussie and Great Britain. NZD.
The Aussie dollar?
The Aussie NZD and the GB.
Aussie NZD. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and the Great Britain.
Gotcha. Okay. That Aussie yen is interesting. All right. If you guys have any others, drop those in as we go through, but we will start with those. Aussie NZD. I've been watching this, and this is it's been interesting. So take a look at it from a daily perspective. Okay, daily perspective here. Manually drawing the AB boundary, we got the swing low to form there at that daily support level. Prices pushing to the upside. We're coming into a 618 retracement level on the daily time frame. Price didn't stall in the zone as I initially anticipated, right? Initially, I was looking at price potentially stalling in this 236, 38.2 area, but price continued to press to the upside, okay? So we're coming into a 618 retracement zone. We got this daily resistance zone ahead. We got a level here also, right? This is just that zone right there, okay? So I'll leave that out, and we know that the zone is sitting there. So we're pressing into that 618 retracement off the daily time frame, right? We know this is the larger look at things, okay? So as we come down through the time frames to the 4, this was that consolidation that we broke out of here. And we're pushing back up into that zone, okay? Pushing back into that zone. This is the original area I was looking for price to stall at, and it didn't, right? You see we just blew straight through that, push to the upside, okay? So now we look to see, do we get price to turn back over and continue making its way down and get to that D extension, right? Or do we push back through this range and head higher, okay? If we get a push in the commodities, I know Aussie and New Zealand both are commodity currencies, but if the dollar turns over, we could see this Aussie continue pushing to the upside. So we'll want to watch this closely to see. Okay, so that's for the 4-hour perspective. We got that 50% retracement, trying to see if we'll stay or make our way down to the D extension. So this is one I have my eyes on closely to see if we can get that move down to finish this fib out. All right, so that's what I'm watching there from a 4-hour perspective. We come down to the 1, and these are our fibs running to the upside. Okay, we had fibs coming down. I'm gonna run it off this high just to make sure. Right, that's our larger move there, right? But we got stuck in this consolidation, right? So this one looks just like that 4-hour. Looking for it to move down, but we got stuck in the consolidation, so we ran the fibs off the consolidation zone here just to map to see what things were, right? And those are the fibs that got taken out to the upside there. Okay, so we're pushing long now, right? So this next fib, draw it in manually here. The extension there, first swing high after the D extension was achieved is there. Boom. Right. So this is our fresh AB boundary. Now we want to see what happens. Do we push into this 118, 127 zone and then get our reversal? Or do we see price turnover where we sit? Right. So we could potentially push up and test that daily level again if we get another boost. Okay. So I'm watching this to see where price goes from there. Okay. Like I said, I'd love to see it turn over and finish the fibs out from a higher time frame perspective. We'll see. Right. Another way I'm looking at this is here with the fib running to the upside there. On the 15, we got an 80-20 scenario, and we drop the cloud on to get our additional confirmation here. All right. So still got a bullish cloud ahead. So I'm going to wait on this. Right. So if I get price to break this cloud and we get our cloud confirmations, twist, TK crossover, right? Then I'll look for that short entry and see if we can get price to push back down to the downside. All right. But if we stay above the cloud, I'll look for price to continue to ride long. Okay. So that's my look at it right now. Like I said, on 15-minute, got an 80-20 scenario. So if your rules are met, right, pull the trigger on the 80-20. What are your thoughts on that, Joy?
Right now I'm long on it.
Okay.
Because it's this read like an EKG reading. I seen the 80-20, but I was kind of hesitant to play the counter move. I was playing this in my demo and my live. I'm actually doing way better in my demo.
What's the
because I
difference?
caught that. My initial in my live is 106,741.
Well, no, I mean, you said you're doing better in the demo than in your live account. What's the difference in the two accounts?
Oh, the lot size. The lot size. And I probably got like 100 pip more difference. I took a lower interest on the demo than I did in my live.
Gotcha.
Because I wanted to make sure that it was still in a buy move because it was breaking out of consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just hesitant. And because I was hesitant, I took it in the demo. But then when I seen it get moving, I went ahead and took it in my live.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So hey, great job, right? Got the direction right so far. Now we'll see if that correction comes, if we get a continuation, or if we get a reversal at some point. All right. So continue to monitor. Great work.
Okay. I had a question. When it comes to like the double commodities like this, it's like if the NZD trades with the Aussie, wouldn't the Aussie hold more weight than the NZD? Or
so it depends on. I would say it depends on like what else is happening, right? So that's why I was saying if we get um data that isn't good for the dollar, right? And we'll ask Benny this question too. But if we get negative news for the dollar, we could see the Aussie pick up that steam, right, as the more dominant commodity currency. But because you in these where you have two commodity currency, that's why you just see this range, right? So you see this all the time, right? So they'll just battle back and forth, and that's what we have here. Ultimately, is this battle, right? So price pushed back up into that zone because both of them are relatively strong at the moment, right? And you also have positive news coming out of China, right? So you get the back and forth there. And then with China being a large coal user as well, that could also impact the Aussie in a positive way too. So yeah, so this one sometimes it can get difficult when it gets stuck in these ranges like this. So
yeah, because I'm also in the KJ, and I'm like, when it comes during the switching off, I noticed the other night it went from risk on to risk off, and it flipped flop risk off to risk on, like within a matter of minutes. I that's when my emotions had came into play, and that's my fault. But these are two pairs that's volatile for me during the times that I trade. So I was just trying to get an understanding.
Yeah, you really want to stick to your levels, right? The technical levels on these would be really good to stick to because you stay in ranges a lot, right? So you can play those ranges a lot more easily because they bounce because of that battle.
Yep.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Great work. Any other questions on this Aussie New Zealand? No? All right, cool deal. Let's take a look at the pound New Zealand. Let's see what's happening. Might have to do a fresh markup on this one because some of it's still there. Let's see. All right, cool. Pull the cloud off. Daily time frame. Push into the D extension. Right. Push into the D extension. We got a level of support here. We'll mark this one out there. But right, tracking to the D extension broke this daily level yesterday, right? D extension is here. So now wait to get that push to that D extension and then look for a reset. Okay. This is a previous level here, which is no longer, right? So we'll pull this level out, no longer valid. And this is what we're looking at. So we broke that daily resistance level. The next daily resistance level is there. Okay. Let's go back to the monthly real quick since we pulled that level out. Yep. Nothing in between. Right? Nothing in between. From a weekly time frame perspective, nothing in between. Okay, so that's where we that's where we sit from a daily. Let's drop to the 4. That's the daily again, pushing to the D extension. There we go. Let's drop to the 4. Look at there. 80-20 scenario. Right? So I'm going to go back to the daily real quick to grab that D extension level. Mark it out. Solid red line here. Daily D extension. So as we come down to the 4 to take a look at this, right? Daily extension right in that 118, 127 zone. Okay. Daily extension right in that 118, 127 zone. So it could be a prime opportunity for a reversal and a reset, right? Another push, get to that D extension, then look for reversal like that. Okay. So let's watch this one closely. Okay. I'll get this one posted in the Discord so we can track it. But that's what I'm looking at here. TP1 there. TP2 there. Okay. Swing trade, right? We'll see what's happening on the lower time frames. But if we get things to align, that'd be a beautiful scenario for us. Okay. Be patient, allow it to push to the upside, and then see if we get the reversal. So that's the 4-hour look. Let's screenshot that. Okay. Now on this risk to reward perspective, we're looking like this. Whoops. Like that. Boom. Okay. There we go. So that's the setup there. We'll watch that. We'll watch that and see what happens. Obviously, we'll have to monitor this daily level as well, right? As soon as we just broke through that level, look for a retest. If price breaks back below, right, then that could be our indication for that reversal to the downside there. Okay, so we'll watch it there. Right. So this is a 4, like I said, swing trade. So you have a wider stop here, 300 pips on the stop loss, right, for 644 on the take profit. So you got a nice 2-to-1 scenario there if we get that to play out on the 4. All right. So we drop down to the 1. Let's see what we have here. Run them off the low. Similar idea, right? Similar idea. So you can trade this off the 1 or the 4. All right. Off the 1 or the 4. But same look, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. So look for the push up and then reversal. So now we can start dropping our cloud on, right? Still pushing to the upside there. So we'll wait for the cloud to catch up to price, right? We could see a little bounce. That retest of that trend line, that daily level could come here, right? Retest that and potentially the cloud, then give us our push to that D extension. And this could be potentially where we get our crown action to occur. Okay. Something like that. Excuse me. So 4-hour and 1 hour 80-20 scenarios here. Okay. So let's monitor it closely. Right. We'll get both of these posted in the Discord. 4-hour and 1 hour. So that we can track those there. Let's drop to the 15. Let's see if there's any additional confirmation on the 15. We'll map these all the way through. Like so. Take a bit, but we'll get there. Oops. Am I missing it? Yep, there we go. Okay. Let's see. All right, this is our last low point there. So we'll come here. Not there. And there we go. All right. So, all right, even confirmation on the 15. As we map those fibs all the way through, 80-20 on the 4 hour, 1 hour, and 15-minute, similar looks. Okay, similar looks. So let's watch it closely here. And you can use that cloud, potentially earlier entry off the cloud break. Excuse me. So that's the pound New Zealand. That's what I'm looking at. Questions here. Beautiful opportunity there.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Jeremy, what's up?
Yeah, cool. Just a quick question. On the daily, is it long overall or short?
From a daily time frame perspective, clean this up a bit. It's been long, right? But we could be due for a correction.
Okay, thank you.
But you see, right? So we're pushing back to the top of the zone here, right? Because if you zoom all the way out, it's been rangy, right? Bottom of the range, pushing back to the top of the range, right? So overall, it's been long, but we could be in for correction, right? If you look at it here, right, we got some retracements here, but it's just been pushing up, right? And we're starting to pick up momentum to the upside here as we break through this daily level. Okay, so overall long could be due for a correction, and then we'll see if we get back long again. Make sense?
Yes.
Teacup. Benny, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Ryan? Good evening, sir. Good morning. Good evening, everybody. I don't know if it's evening or morning. It's so crazy today. Oh man, just touching down. Crazy day.
Yeah,
a lot of presenting and everything else. So just wrapping it up for the. Everything went well, man. Everything went well. No glitches. So. Yeah, so that's always a relief when everything goes off without a hitch. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, always glad to be back with the crew, though.
Glad to have you, bro.
Yeah, this is the easy life right here. This is good.
Facts, stress reliever. Cool deal, man. You got any? I'm not sure when you popped in. You got any thoughts on this pound New Zealand?
Across the board, all time frames, except for you starting to get the creep in on the 15, right? Little bit of sell side pressure, but it's been long across all time frames for the most part.
Yeah.
Maybe topping out a bit, time for a correction.
Yeah. Same thoughts.
A CPI is gonna affect everything tomorrow. Yeah. It's gonna affect everything.
Yeah.
So
Joy had a question earlier. I'm curious on your perspective regarding the Aussie New Zealand. What impacts one of them more? Because it's similar trade partners, similar regions, right? When it comes to other fundamental data, what could impact the Aussie more, or what could impact the New Zealand more to push in one direction or the other?
Just domestic data.
Gotcha.
When you look at inflationary pressures, things like that, where they, in regards to monetary policy, where they stand. Whether or not you start to get the monetary policy divergence, between the central banks, their employment data, so I tend to start focus on similar trade partners, but that domestic data is still very, very important. Yeah, I mean both commodity currencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to lean more towards, okay, what are the central banks doing?
So seeing where we are now, you're starting to see some of that divergence then with New Zealand, because New Zealand just increased their interest rate again, right?
Right,
And the
right.
Aussie, they pausing, slowing down, looking at data.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when you really start to go, and looking at the GDP data, the growth rates, the unemployment rate numbers, inflation rate, you know,
Gotcha.
stuff like that, and the interest rate. So that's when you start to really delve into that, beyond that huge level when you're talking about, hey, we've got similar trade partner, China, is the largest trade partner for both of them. When you move beyond that, then it becomes about that type of data. So.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Joy, there you go. From our resident fundamental guru.
Thank you very kindly.
Yeah. It's still learning, man. Something new every day.
Yes, sir.
And to add on, that can be like the same for the CAD and the JPY. Since the J, but no, I take that back because that's a CAD, that's a commodity in the safe haven. Never mind. Answer my question.
It is, but you have Canada pausing rates as well, right? They just paused rates recently. They've got don't they have employment data coming up?
No, rate statement tomorrow.
Rate statement, okay. Yeah, so they're expected to hold again. Is that what it's saying on Forex Factory? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that becomes we know in regards to the Bank of Japan, right? No real change, at least yet, in regards to their ultra loose monetary policy. So then that becomes potential risk on, risk off. Especially when you look at that CPI data tomorrow. So that could be a risk on, risk off play with the CAD yen. So we'll see. We'll see. What did do we know what the S&P did today?
It was
down just a bit. A little flat. Right. A little flat ahead of see, yeah, I should know that, being that report is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see what happens with the CPI data tomorrow. All right. Does it cause people to take that flight to safety, the market? To take the flight to safety, or the opposite. Be interesting.
It will be.
That gold continue long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at it here in a second.
Good deal.
Cool. Appreciate you, bro. Any other questions on that conversation or this pound New Zealand? You're welcome. Oh. All right, cool deal. Let's take a look at this Aussie yen. Benny looked at it this morning, and let's see what happened through the day. So overall, this is where we are from a daily time frame perspective. Came down to that 50% retracement zone, trying to get long, but could be trapped. Right? Could be trapped in the range. Okay, but pressing long right now, trying to get back to the upside. Come down to the 4. Okay. 786 retracement, price pressing down. Again, not able to break out. Trying to figure it out here. Right? Your trend line's coming down. Pressed up against that trend line, broke down, coming back to the trend line again. So we'll see what happens as we approach. Okay. We'll see what happens as we approach. Right? Pressing there. As we come down to the 1, couple perspectives on this one, right? This is one perspective here. Okay. Could be looking at potential crown action. Right. crown action there. If we get long, right? One perspective, right? But we also know overall price has been moving down, but we came into that sweet spot on the daily, right? 50% retracement level. So it's a question of ultimately, right? Is it going to be risk on or risk off? Right? Does the Aussie pick up that steam and do we start breaking those levels back to the upside, or do we come back down in favor of the yen, a potential safe haven scenario? Right? So the other way we looked at this is, no, that one got taken out, was here. Then we had that fib drawn manually, didn't we? Off that low. I don't remember. So that's where it is off that low, using the smart fibs running to the upside there. Right. So we're back and forth on this one, right? Nothing really clear. As we come down to the 15, though, we did have this 80-20 here. Okay. Did have the 80-20 here. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. And now we're just ranging, right? Throughout the day today, just pushed back up into that zone. And now we're pressing sideways here. Okay. So again, tomorrow will give us the indication on if we're going to make this move to the downside or continue pressing long. Right. But that's our zone there that we need to break out of. But that's also our 80-20 scenario as well. Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry, Ryan. What's your overall bias?
It's mixed. It's mixed,
okay?
Right? I want to see, do we break above this 91.81 and continue long, right? We know fundamentally, right? The yen, Japan isn't making any changes, right? As of now. But Bank of Australia, they're data dependent, right? So they're kind of sitting and watching and waiting. Okay. But they are ready to make changes if necessary. So we're range bound a bit, in my opinion, here. So I want to see, do we break above and continue making higher highs and higher lows, or do we come down and break this 86,049? Right. So right now it's in between. Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this one I am not trading at the moment. I'm watching, but that intraday trade scenario was on the 15-minute that we looked at this morning. Okay. So it could be retracement for continuation. That could also be the scenario, right? But well, again, that CPI data tomorrow will give us some indication on what direction we'll move. Okay. So mixed. Other questions on the Aussie yen?
No, we just always have to remember, that when you're a commodity currency, you're risk, sensitive. So there's a lot to pay attention to. We know that the Aussie, right? So you can get that bouncing back and forth. When you have Australia, where they held rates, right? They left them unchanged.
Mm-hmm.
They left it unchanged. I think it was at what was it, like 3.6% or something like that. They left it unchanged. You've got, being that the Aussie is always affected by the situation with China and the US, that could lead to some uncertainty, especially when you talk about Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
So you get it bouncing back and forth. This is just one of those things to me where it's more so the yen weakness, because when you have the new BOJ governor saying that there's not going to be any significant changes in monetary policy, and you had a percentage, some investors, pricing in that, hey, there may be some monetary changes finally, and when he comes through and pretty much says, he signaled that there's not going to be any changes, you have your currencies, even your currencies that have been performing on the weaker side, running against the yen right now. So that would support, your potential correction to the downside and continuation long against the yen, unless something goes on with these reports and the market goes into a risk off mode, and then you see that yen tend to strengthen by way that it's a safe haven currency. But right now, when you look at the yens across the board, the yen crosses, it looks like the currencies are making that run, right? Look at the EJ and other currency pairs, because it was like there's not going to be any changes to the monetary policy and that yield curve control when it comes to Japan. So, I think that's where we're seeing it now. I think because the Aussie hasn't been super strong either, right? So to me, this leans more towards yen weakness as opposed to definite, Aussie strength.
For sure.
Right now. Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that.
I hope that made sense.
No, definitely. For me, it does, for sure. Feedback.
Yes, it does.
Awesome.
Yeah, sometimes that's when you can pull up, right? How we do the technical summaries, right? From investing.com, and you just pull up all your yen crosses and see, like, or all the currencies, all the currencies making a run against the yen, right? Straight across the board. It'll give you a good visual, what's really going on, because that Aussie's been declining, but against that yen is long, so that kind of can key you into knowing where the major strength or the major weakness lies when it comes to the currency pairs. You kind of have to separate them out, and look at them individually.
Got you.
Yep.
Got you. So overall buy, right? From a weekly time frame, sell, daily, hour, 15-minute strong buy. I dig it, Joy. Brandy, that makes sense?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey.
I have to remember to check that out more than just, looking and just to like reread it slowly. Go through it.
Yeah, for sure. This is one that I have to use more as well. I look at it a couple times a month, but I don't look at it every day like I should. So it's one that I gotta add back into the readily available links also.
Can you customize that real quick, Ryan? Like with the yen, with the yen crosses on there, like Aussie yen, CAD yen, dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen.
I figured out if you customize and save on my quotes and on the Forex, you can get all 28 pairs.
Say that again.
On my quotes where it says popular at.
Okay.
And then on the where he at now, the Forex overview. So I got the first half like in alphabet from Aussie on down, and then I just got all 28 pairs between those and just got them saved.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Pound yen. That makes it very clear. That makes it very clear.
Right.
Were you saying something, bro?
No, I was just agreeing. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that makes it apparent that the yen is weak.
Yep. Yep. It definitely does.
Say green mean go, huh?
Exactly.
Right. So now it's just a matter of, you know, if you're using, you know, the Fibonacci principles, you know, where is my low price? Right? Am I in a situation where I'm at a perceived low price that I can get in long? You know, is price sitting high coming into some major levels, and I'm looking on my time frames and I'm saying, hey, it's in the 80-20 zone, you know, where I've made that shallow retracement and price is pushed up and now it's a bit overextended. Maybe it's time for a correction. You know, so you can really kind of filter out what your options are in regards to what type of setups you want to look for.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. Beautiful. There you have it, good people. Any other questions here? Appreciate that, bro.
No problem.
All right. Oh, cool deal. Ebony mentioned the pound Aussie. Let's check her out. Trying to get to this daily D extension. Running into this daily level, right? Formed there. We're just pressing against it sideways. Pressing against it sideways. Daily extension is here at 188, 145. Right? So we could get there. We could get there, right? Trying to press, having trouble though. So we'll see. Coming down through the time frames, still in this 80-20 zone, right? That 4-hour D extension is there. I'm going to map this out here real quick just to get the range. This is the daily D extension here. Daily D extension there. We'll bring it down. Just above that 4-hour D extension. Okay, so this is our range here that we could be pressing toward once we break above that daily level. Okay, so that's the range there. Daily D extension, 4-hour D extension. We could see it potentially. Okay, so that's what we have there. Still have this 80-20. Haven't gotten to that 382. Still haven't gotten a 382 on the 4 here, right? Haven't gotten it on the daily either, but we're inching closer and closer to the D extension here. So we'll see what happens at this daily level if we do stay below or if we do pop above and get there. Okay.
So I got a question.
Talk to me.
So I put an order in just to track it. It's low. Mm-hmm. My question is, if I'm a drip in, should I have my stop loss in the same area or within the same ATR boundaries?
For me, when I drip, I do place my stop at the same level, right? And looking at it from a risk management perspective, right? So if you add an additional order higher in that zone, right, that cuts that risk down from there. Now you're looking at the move to the downside there, right? So depending on what your percentage is, okay, right? If you're doing 2%, maybe that first order was 1%. The second order might be another 1%, but based on that stop loss, that lot size will be different than that first.
Gotcha.
Right. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, or if you wait for price to turn over, give you your confirmation of the reversal, and then you add in, it's still same principle, right? Based on wherever price is at that time. Now you're calculating the stop loss from whatever that position is, and it'll also be different from that original position. Follow?
Okay, because because of the volatility, I've been playing it safe on the stop orders. Because they've been pulling back viciously.
Yeah.
So I was debating whether to do a sell limit or a sell stop here for my second entry.
Got you. Yeah. If I add a second order, I'm going to do a market order, and I'm going to wait on a lower time frame for some additional confirmation. Right. This is my original order, and I'm allowing it to do its thing. It hasn't hit my stop loss yet, which is there. Right. So we'll see what happens as price continues to move.
And that's the reason why I want to do a market order, but it's going to put you where they want you, plus the spread.
True.
Okay, I got you.
Right.
I just want to run that by because
I follow you.
I noticed that it's the spread, and it's like the 4 pip difference between my value on my MT4 versus Smart Trader. That's it.
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah, that's yeah, I'll eat that. I'll eat that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'll take it, and I'll just do that. The other thing that I'm actually testing now, which Smart Trader is a very cool tool, but the other thing I'm testing is you can set. So I added this account in here, and you can set trades to activate on break of the cloud levels too. So that's something that I'm testing on the side to see what that looks like. You can set alerts.
I was testing the trail stop, and I was mad because I did a high risk trade on oil today.
Ooh.
And I added the spread, and I added the commission, and it was like I said it, and I figured it was gone, but I guess I trailed it too close to where it took out and took off. I was like, dang it.
Yeah, you can do something like this here too, right? Add the alert, and then if you have your account here in Smart Trader, you can also add it to place your order on that break, right? However you choose to, right? Cross down, price, new candle close. That's the alert, and then you can set sell, and you can set up your trade here. If you wanted to go that route. So that's another thing you can look at too, kind of similar to your stops, right? So something I'm playing with it to see what it looks like and what it feels like. So I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so this is where we are on the one, right? And that level again, right? That 4 hour daily, the 4 hour and daily extensions. Okay. Just above the 118 127 zone on the one. So there is that potential here as well for this to continue moving to the upside, to get into that zone, get to the D extension, and then we'll see what happens from there. Right? We'll bring this down. Right?
Yeah.
Right in that zone.
I'm just gonna wait on it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Be patient.
Yes.
Be patient. You know what I mean?
I want it to prove to me that it's gonna go
there you
down.
Go. There you go. Right?
Yeah.
You're not forcing it, but allowing it to. I like that. I like those words. I like those words. Right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens in this zone.
So the question becomes, why is the pound running long the way it is? Right?
Yep. That's the question.
Who that question for?
Anybody? Why is the pound gaining momentum? Right?
Because it runs the same as the stocks, and it was a little strong today?
It was, but this has been running though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's
right,
been running for a long time
it's
too.
been running, right? And this is why we follow the fundamentals, because you remember, if you guys remember, right, there's always a lag in effect, right? Even the price, right, and how it reacts and when it kicks in, right, bullish or bearish, because due to fundamentals, right, being a catalyst. So if you guys remember in February, right, with the pound, they had an inflation report that came through above forecast, surprisingly above forecast at 10.4%. Then they came in March and they saw food inflation rose to a record high. So what does that mean? Somebody tell me that. When you're reading news like that, right? What is that? What could possibly happen, right? How do we, when you talk about central banks, what's one of the ways that they try to tame inflation? What's one of the tools in their tool belt?
Everybody got money and they spending it.
Right, it's heating up the market, and like Benit said, right, the possibility of further rate hikes.
They're pricing it in,
right? So they're pricing that in, okay. And then remember, right, how those of you who've been with us for a while, it's like, oh my goodness, it's an energy crisis due to the war, and then it's like the universe, the stars aligned, and they had a warmer winter, right? And so your energy prices are starting to fall, okay. So that's how all of that plays together. So you see it's going up on a technical charts. The fibs really help us with that and support and resistance. We can see that pricing is going straight up. But the key is why. Why has it been making that run? Why is he coming into these key levels? And is there a possibility that there's time to show some relief from all of that being priced in? Right. And that's always the trick to the fundamentals in the price action. Yeah, we may get that burst of price action in either a bullish or bearish direction on the day of the report, but it's always the result of what happened prior, and then what's going to happen in the future based on the statements, and the words being used by key players, right? Like central bankers and stuff like that. So it's an amazing game, right? We know that these technicals are just footprints, right? Being left over from fundamentals at play, right? And market forces. So that's why it's been running long like it has. So I always have that in my head when I see, like, man, for this current fib, it didn't make really a really deep correction. Like, what's going on? Price just accelerated, right? You guys see how it didn't come anywhere near the green for the buy zone, right? The buyers just came in, right? You get that fear of missing out, and price just went long, right? Just went long on us, right? So you always when you see stuff like that, like, what's causing that? That's how we have to think as investors. What's the reasons behind why price is moving the way it is? It really helps you out, and it really helps you gain an edge in the market. So when you're trading on your own, like Ebony said, it has to show me, right? So that might kick in, like, well, man, I know we might have further rate hikes coming. All of these things are aligning. Prices accelerated. Yeah, I think I want to add some additional confirmations, as opposed to maybe I just don't jump in this one in the zone. Maybe I'll just wait, and then it'll play out. Maybe it'll play out either way, but those things you want to have in the back of your mind when you're working your way through these setups.
That's the message right there.
Thank you, Benny.
You're welcome.
All right. That's the message. So we shall see. Is it time for relief, or do we continue to press? All right. So that's where we sit. That's where we sit on the pound Aussie. Any other questions there?
Nope. Good stuff, man. This is and you made it easy, Ryan, for him, right? So you showed him on the investment.com, and you looked at the technical summaries for the yen crosses, right? And you see how it is across the board. So a lot of times we'll get, especially from newer members, it's like, man, like, which way am I going to deploy my fibs? Well, if you look at that yen crosses across the board and everything is bullish, somebody tell me, what direction are you going to run those fibs?
Bottom up.
Bottom up.
Say that again.
Bottom up.
Bottom up.
Yeah, absolutely. Until the market tells you otherwise. And then what you're going to see on that technical summary is when you get a correction, right? So you got that up AB boundary, you got price correcting to the downside. You're going to start to see first, you're going to see that 15-minute technical summary turn to a sell, then the 1 hour turn to a sell, then the 5 hour turn to a sell, depending on how deep price corrects, and it's just the same thing over and over again. Right? It'll start to shift. Think about it in your head visually, right? Up AB boundary. If price starts to correct down to the downside, that B to C move starts to occur. You're going to start to see, right? First, it's going to start from the bottom up, right? Lower time frame up. 15-minute will start to shift from being a buy to a sell, right? Then your hourly, then that 5 hour, your daily, it'll all start to change, right? Because price is correcting. So we'll be in an up retracement zone. Okay. So something to think about.
That's perfect. Any other questions?
So that,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So that UJ on that 15 where it has neutral, will that be like it's probably consolidating, moving sideways?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's the sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta use that more. Investing.com.
Yep. Because it's just giving you a summary of key technical indicators. So you don't have to light your chart up with a bunch of indicators, right? I'm just going to go to this technical summary, and see what it's doing. Ryan, do you have it on your right-hand side? Do you have the gauge, the smart gauge?
Oh, yep, I do.
The smart trader, right? You have something similar here, right? Look at your smart gauge. And that one's set up. What is that default? What is it using? A stochastic, a MACD?
Yep.
Stochastic and a MACD, those two that use. I know you can adjust which indicators you want to add to it, but you can see that's coming through neutral too on the smart gauge. That's already built in.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Got some other ones down there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So as we there it is. Any other questions about anything that we covered tonight in this schooling from a fundamental perspective this evening?
So I was on Euro USD and I looked at investing.com and it said this was yesterday. So it said strong sale, but everything that I was looking at said it was time to buy. So I think I'm missing something.
All right.
Well, if you're gonna buy at a low price or a high price.
At a low price.
Right. So in order for it to get to your low price, what does it have to do? Buy or sell?
Sell.
There you go.
Okay.
Pushing to the upside there. All right. 618 retracement. Going long. On the 4. 8-6 retracement. It's been pushing long. On the 1, right? Posted that one. Pushed long. Now we're stalling. Waiting on tomorrow. So we'll see what happens at this daily level.
Okay.
Right, because you always have to remember, right, that your indicators are lagging, right? And as we become well trained, right, technicians, the best indicator is going to be our own 2 eyes, because our eyes operate in real time, right? So those indicators are going to be lagging. Like if you look at investing.com now, right, across the board is on the summary is long, right? It's long, but in order for you to get that low price, you want it to sell off, right? So what are you on, right? A 1 or are you on a 15? Okay. Now if you go to the 1 and run that fib to the upside, right? So you can see where that came in, right? So it was selling off. It was selling off, and now look at what happened, right? On that capital fib, that dropped right into that buy zone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you're seeing it. You're seeing it. You got it, right?
Okay.
The more and more you do it, it'll start to make perfect sense to you.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great work.
So I got a question on also, like, when we see price action like this, when we see these longer shadows on the bottom side of the candle, do we see that for space of an opportunity, or do we see that for a potential support zone?
Say that one more time for me.
You see how the candle, like right where we is, the wick is longer on the bottom side.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's telling me that price is going to pull up. But looking back on the charts, I'm noticing that, like, that previous candle, that blue candle that's hanging down, that engulfing took all of that price action out, and it retested. So where is that now? Do we see that because price end up closing above, that is more buying pressure because of that long wick on the downside, and it didn't take that engulfing candle out right there, the immediate price? Or because price is holding at that daily level, we can see that as just price just holding there, and that's where it just stopped? Or don't read into the candles like that?
I'm looking at the overall swing that it pulled back to that buy zone, and it
Yeah.
reversed.
Okay.
And that current price. So what it did was, you see that bearish, it rejected, right? It's been a choppy mess. It tested that level, rejected it, and now it created a support, right? So now you got another support there, right? And it's trying to test and break that level again. The question is what happens as a result of tomorrow, right? That's the
Ultimate.
that's the wild card for the price action where you are now. You know what I mean? But if you play that as a traditional swing off that low price that got established in the buy zone, right? You're up right now, and it's just a matter of, do I want to, am I going to move my stop up, ahead of tomorrow? Am I just out of the trade because of the report tomorrow? You know what I mean? But that's how I'm trading, not necessarily looking at. If I was trying to get an entry off this now, I would be looking and focused in the zone that you're looking at. But coming off that 61.8 level, that trades up quite a bit. If you played it that way.
Okay.
Okay. So in essence, that bearish engulfing candle wouldn't have made me make a different decision, because I'm playing it I'm playing an overall swing. I'm playing the C to D move. So to me, that's just hey, it is what it is. My projected target is that 1.618 based on, where it retraced to, which was a 618. So my C is at a 618. So whatever happens in between that C and that D, I don't necessarily, traditionally, I don't necessarily care, but we know we've got a CPI. So you have to make the decision as a trader. Am I going to roll my stop up above that new low that was established? Am I going to get out of the trade altogether? Or is, hey, regardless of what happened with this CPI report, I'm still long the euro versus the dollar, and I'm just going to let it play out.
Okay,
that's
because space that's taken is going to be space that's taken, whether it's a wick or not.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I'm swinging this, I'm like, hey, it came down in my buy zone. I'm long, and I'm looking for this trade. If my trade idea is for it to go all the way to that 1.618, I'm looking for it to go all the way to that 1.618.
Tomorrow will tell the tale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Yeah. Really good session.
I'm sorry,
man.
just this that's still part of my relearning those the marketing talks of the order blocks and previous balance and stuff. So just trying to get out of that tail and focus on the fib and the D extension and the sweet spots. That's it.
Yeah, because if you look at some of those trades, like real quick before we jump off, right? Can you take a look at that like the EJ, the Euro JPY?
You got a time frame that you want to start at?
You go where you got that current fib. What's that current fib that's run? The one that you have lit up? Yeah. What is that on? Your 1? Or 4, right? Yeah, that's what I have it running off of. So it's like at this point, like, well, if your trade idea is your stops below the A, right? What would be your reasoning for getting out that trade prior to it hitting the D? If your bias is still intact for euro long, right? Yen weak, like what would be my bias, right? Because we know that yes, that price is going to pull back, right? It'll pull back, at some point, but there's nothing, right now that says, hey, you should get out of that trade before the 61.8. My risk has already been calculated before I take the trade. It's up to you as a trade manager whether or not you want to move that stop, how soon you want to move that stop up, because the trade's in profit, right? Because that's up a while, because I'm actually in that one. That one's up quite a bit off that C.
Over 300.
And see, this is the instance that I find myself because of the time that I get on a chart. This is where I will see myself taking the entry at, will be at the C. So I think my struggle is when it gets to this point, me becoming comfortable of putting that stop at the A, not necessarily saying my account can't handle it. It's just a psychological of me being cheap.
Yeah. I mean, you're 300 pips in profit, so if you want to move that up from the A underneath the new low, if you want to move it higher than that, you know what I mean? Like you can move it up higher, right? So if you move over to the left, Ryan, and then go straight up to that high. No, right, you were right.
No,
where you had it.
Here?
Right there. Right? So you may say, hey, that may come back. If that price breaks back below that B boundary, maybe that past resistance becomes future support. Maybe I want to put my stop somewhere below there. If you get stopped out, you're in profit. So that all just comes down to trade management and how you want to do it. Because it still has quite a ways to go to that D extension. If that's where price wants to go, we don't control price. All we can do is take our fundamental, skill set and our technical skill set and develop a bias to the trade idea. you know, and let that bad boy go. You might have reduced it. You might have reduced it at the B boundary. You might have taken 50% off, you know, 75% off at the B boundary and said, you know what, I'm gonna let the last quarter run to the D extension. That's totally up to you on how you want to manage that trade and your trade psychology.
So
A lot of people feel better taking some money off the table. I mean, that's 300 pips you up off that 61.8. You know,
so my question is the
Mhm.
definition of low hanging fruit. Would that be the low hanging fruit if me moving my profit and if me moving my stop up in profit to where I'm acceptable to? Would that be considered low hanging fruit?
Yeah, because you've got everything locked in.
Okay.
You know, everything that's below that is locked in. You know, and so you have to. There's a lot of people who just use trailing stops like that at that point. You just have to make it in your trade plan. At what point do I want to start to move and adjust it? You know, my stop loss. You know, that's totally up to you as a trader. At what point do I want to take some money off the table and let the rest run? If that's what you choose to do.
From intraday to swing, it's a hard knocks life. I'm trying.
It is, but you know, that the trade management that you learn as an intraday trader can really benefit you. You know, as a swing trader, like that skill set. You know, knowing when to take some money off the table, knowing when to adjust that stop. You know, and letting the rest run, because that's a big trade. You know, that's a big trade. So most people are happy if they can get a 300 pip month, let alone in one setup. So on a 1 hour chart, nonetheless.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, man. Good stuff.
Hey, great work, bro. Great questions. Great
Yeah.
questions. Anything else before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. That's it, man. Big day tomorrow, CPI. So we'll look at some dollar pairs in the morning. But I don't expect too much to happen overnight. You know, so tomorrow will probably be a quick one in the morning, quick review, because the market typically will stall out until everybody sees that data. The whole world is waiting on that report. So
Yes, sir. Good deal, bro. Well, we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Until then, everybody, have an awesome morning or evening, depending on where you are. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Okay, thanks for everything. Good night.
Guys, appreciate you both.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
thank you.